Hola! Ready to uncover the hidden secrets of traveling here in Spain? Well, you're in the right place because 99% of the tourists miss out on the basics. And I'm here to make sure you're not one of them. From mastering the art of navigating Spanish cities to savoring authentic cuisine like a local, we're diving head first into tips and tricks that will transform your Spanish adventure into an unforgettable journey. I'll walk you through the must-knows for traveling in Spain, when to visit, how to get around, what to see, and more. Plus, there are some essential phrases you might want to know, so stick with me. Vamos! Let's make sure your trip to Spain is everything you dreamed of and more. Ready to book your ticket? Well, hold on, I'll explain where to fly to in a second. First, when to visit Spain? Well, the best time are in the shoulder months. I'm talking April to say June, or in the autumn from September through November. That way you're gonna experience all of Spain's charm without all the tourists and the sweltering summer heat. I'm sure by now you're ready to book that boutique hotel up in the Andalusian hills above Malaga, but 99% of the tourists get some important booking information wrong, and I want to make sure you get it right, so stick with me. First, let's talk about where to fly, because Spain is a big country. There are two major international hubs, especially if you're flying on long-haul flights from far off, like the United States. You're going to want to consider these places: Madrid and Barcelona. Those airports are your go-tos. Now, if you're flying from in locally from around Europe, well, the sky's the limit for your airport options. Think down in the south like Malaga, off into the east like Valencia, or up in the north, cities like Bilbao. There are so many airports in Spain, like tapas on a menu. Just choose your flavor. How are you going to get around? Well, take the train. It's a stress-free, low-hassle way to travel, and it's fast, especially if you're using the high-speed line AVE or AVE. It has around 3,100 kilometers of rail connecting the major cities like Madrid, Barcelona, up in the northwest, cities like León, over to the east, Valencia, and down in the deep south, great city like Sevilla. It's faster than your Wi-Fi at home. Just sit back, sip some wine, and watch the country whiz by. If you prefer to drive, Spain's highways are well maintained, huge, think like in the United States, and far less toll heavy than neighboring countries like France or Italy. It allows you to get to those off-beaten places, those little pueblos, and just explore the countryside. But if you're sticking to bigger cities, traveling by train will be far less stressful. Oh wow, recently I stayed in this cool place up in the Andalusian hills above Malaga. Beautiful olive groves all around, breakfast and dinner on a terrace overlooking those groves. A little cute house pet cat just hanging out there on the terrace as well with me to enjoy the views. And in the morning, a fantastic run up to the Mirador overlooking the countryside. I love Spain, and I'll get to some suggested itineraries for you here in a second. But do you remember I said that we'd talk about how to book? Maybe if you're considering hotels or Airbnbs, well, here's the information you need to know so you're making the right decision. Hotels are great if you're staying for 1 or 2 nights because they offer you 24-hour reception and often breakfast every morning. Now, you want to consider Airbnbs if you're staying for a longer stay in a city or a little town off in the countryside. The advantage of those is that you can live like a local in a local apartment. Also, you have more space, which is convenient if you're traveling with children or a larger family. And often you have a kitchen which allows you to cook up your own Spanish feast. Okay, now let's get into those breathtaking itineraries that I promised. Kick off your Spanish journey in Spain's vibrant capital of Madrid. Visit places like the Royal Palace, the Prado Museum, or the Puerta del Sol. And also, you can make day trips out to towns like Toledo, Segovia, or Avila They're must-do destinations for their stunning architecture and rich history. Barcelona, dive into the world of Gaudi with visits to Sagrada Familia, the big cathedral, Park Güell or Casa Batlló. Visit the nearby towns of Girona, Tossa de Mar, and the whole Costa Brava. Head south to soak up the Andalusian sun. Use Malaga as your gateway destination. Visit towns like Cordoba with this Mesquita, Granada with Alhambra, and Sevilla with this massive bullfighting arena. There are so many cultural riches like flamenco dancing and everything you want down in Andalusia. Head to the coastal town of Valencia. It's the birthplace of paella, that famous rice dish, so indulge. Soak up the sun there along the Costa Blanca. Visit nearby towns like Calpe or Alicante. Head north to the Basque Country. Go to the town of Bilbao. Known for its modern art and the museum like the Guggenheim, explore in there and also indulge in the culinary delights. I'm talking about pinchos, the little tapas or Zorrito beers, knock 'em back. Also over in San Sebastian you'll get the same vibe, but that's a coastal city with this large semicircular beach, beautiful views, and yes, more pinchos. Spain isn't just a country, it's a collection of regions, each with its own vibe. Why just sample one tapa when you can taste the whole menu? And when you're traveling, you need to think about what you're going to do if you get in trouble. I'm talking about travel insurance. I'm talking about your health. Your home health insurance may not cover you when you're here abroad. And what I use when I'm traveling is Safety Wings Nomad Insurance. The rates, well, they're pretty inexpensive, and it covers you even for small little stints back to your home country, and you can buy it already when you're traveling abroad during your trip. Check it out. There's a link down below in the description. And also while you're down there, check out the Spanish e-guide, the PDF that I've compiled that you can have offline in your pocket on your phone for when you're traveling around this country. It has everything you need to know in there if you want to explore deeper than what we're doing here in this video. Things like when to visit, what to see and do, how to get around, if you should stay in a hotel or Airbnb, what to eat, and how you're going to stay connected to the internet. Check it out down below. I want to cover how to avoid being let down at those famous sites, monuments, and museums, so you're getting right what other tourists are getting wrong. But before we get into that, let's talk packing. Bring a small bag. I see so many foreigners, tourists in Europe, lugging around big bags through the ancient city centers. You have to consider in Europe, we don't have those big wide sidewalks that you'd have in other countries like the United States. Also, many times you'll be arriving to the city center at the train station, and then it doesn't make sense to take a taxi to your hotel because it's only 500, 400 meters away. But those 500, 400 meters, that means you're pulling all your luggage and you have your backpack on through the city streets. Don't take too many clothes items. Couple pairs of pants, couple pairs of t-shirts, a light jacket, 2 pairs of underwear, 2 pairs of socks for a 7-day trip, and a little bit of laundry detergent. You can always wash your things in your Airbnb or your hotel as the trip progresses. And as my good friend once told me, travel light and travel far. Also those extra items, well, in addition to a couple of credit cards from different banks, as I always recommend to you, bring cash. Cash is king. Although most places take credit cards, even for a little small beer, you're gonna wanna have some cash on hand. Also a power adapter. Remember, Spain and Europe runs on 220 volts. Not like other countries, say in the United States, that runs on 110 volts. Also a power bank, a battery, so you can keep your phone charged, powered up when you're out and about taking photos and using Google Maps to explore. Really, when you come to Spain, the only heavy thing you should be packing is your appetite. And I see many of you, you know who you are, you come to Europe and you travel with too much luggage. Don't do it. Just bring one small trolley if you can get away with it. tipping or not? Well, hold on, we'll get to that controversial subject. Spain is a food lover's paradise. Let's start with the paella valenciana, then move on to the patatas bravas, gazpacho, jamón ibérico, and the churros. And then the wine, Rioja, Ribera del Duero, and up north in Galicia, Albarino. In Spain, skipping a meal is practically a crime, so eat, drink, and be merry. Okay, remember I said we talk about the controversial subject of tipping? Well, tipping here in Europe, especially in Spain, it's not really done. What some people do is they leave a few euros after a big meal to show their appreciation. But you don't have to. Do it if you want, but don't go all fancy style, American style, and figure out the percentage of 15–20%, adding that on top of your bill for the evening. And don't ask to tip by credit card. That's not done. Now, how to avoid disappointment when you want to visit those big famous sites here in Spain, and how to avoid being like 99% of the tourists. Make sure you plan ahead, especially when visiting in the high season in those summer months, because there can be a lot of lines. Also, the restaurants may be booked up, so you want to call early to get those reservations, and you want to be early and buy those tickets early to get in those places like Sagrada Familia, Alhambra in Granada, or the Royal Palace in Madrid, or the Grand Mosque in Cordoba. With a little bit of planning and thinking ahead, you can really make your vacation go a lot smoother and ensure that you get to those top sites and you get into those great restaurants and have just a delicious meal and a good time. Now we need to talk about staying connected. How are you going to be connected to the internet when you're traveling around Spain? Sure, you can rely on the Wi-Fi in your Airbnb apartment or the hotel you visit, but when you're traveling around through the streets of a city, you want to be able to connect to the internet so you can use Google Maps to navigate, or you can post photos on social media to make your family and friends jealous of your trip here in Spain. So how are you going to do it? Well, my recommendation to you, before you travel, purchase an eSIM online a couple weeks out or 1 week out, then you activate it once you get here to Spain. There are a couple different companies you can go with. Just make sure your phone is eSIM enabled before you make the purchase. Now the other option, when you get here to Spain at the airport, before you leave the airport, it's the easiest place to do it there, is purchase an actual physical SIM. And they have great rates with tons of gigabytes for navigating around. And to do that, you need to make sure your phone has a free SIM card slot, or exchange out your local SIM card for the Spanish SIM. Also, make sure your phone is unblocked, and so you can use a SIM from another country. If you're liking this video and you're appreciating all the content, do me a favor and click that like button down below. That helps out so much. Also, maybe you're not yet subscribed. I see a lot of you aren't yet subscribed, so take a moment, click that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you'll make sure you're not missing out on any of the upcoming videos. You're also supporting my channel and helping me get these videos out to a much wider audience. So click that subscribe button right down below. What are those secret phrases that I spoke about at the beginning of this video? Well, 99% of the tourists won't bother learning any Spanish, but you're gonna be just that little bit different. Learning a few phrases will endear yourself to the locals and help you just get a little bit further along and order that plate of tapas that much faster. So what are some basic phrases? Well, try hola, which means hello, or ¿cómo estás? How are you? And you can respond, bien, gracias, good, thank you. And a simple gracias, that means thank you. Or perdón, that means excuse me, perdón. And a good one, per favor, please. When in doubt, just smile and say gracias. That's the universal key to making friends. So there you have it, your ultimate guide to visiting Spain like a pro. Armed with these tips, you'll be able to see everything and do everything that 99% of the tourists will miss out on. So pack your bags, brush up on your Spanish, and get ready to make some memories that will last a lifetime.